जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदा। यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण जय राधा माधव श्री राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। This is Bhagavad-gītā 9.2. Rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam rāja-vidyā rāja-guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyakṣāvagamaṁ dharmyam su-sukham kartum avyayam. Raja-vidyā, the king of education. Rāja-guhyaṁ, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyakṣa, by direct experience. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Su-sukham, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedānta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. There is a very long purport to this verse, so I'm going to read a particular section of it, and then we will discuss. Purport. This chapter of Bhagavad-gītā is called the King of Education because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. Among the principal philosophers in India are Gautama, Kaṇāda, Kapila, Yājñavalkya, Śāṇḍilya and Vaiśvānara. And finally, there is Vyāsadeva, the author of the Vedānta-sūtra. So there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that this 9th chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of Vedas and different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedānta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, today we are discussing this very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. This is 9th chapter, 2nd verse. So, Prabhupada has given the title to this chapter as the most confidential knowledge. So this chapter is known as the most confidential knowledge, the 9th chapter. In the very first verse, Krishna says, idam tute guhyatamam pravakṣāmi anasūyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva mokshase shubhat. Krishna says, idam tute guhyatamam pravakṣāmi. O Arjuna, I am going to tell you something very, very confidential and guhyatamam. There is guhya, guhyatara and guhyatamam. Guhya means secret. Guhyatar means very, very secret. And guhyatamam means ultimate secret. So, idam tute guhyatamam pravakṣāmi. I am going to tell you the most secret of all secrets. Jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva mokshase subhat. If you get this knowledge, jnanam, this secret is not just theoretical. Krishna is saying, jnanam vijnana sahitam. I am going to explain you with a practical experience how this knowledge can be practiced in life. So, jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva. And what will happen? If you come to understand this, mokshase ashubhat. All the ashubh means inauspiciousness in our life. All of that will go away, Krishna is saying. And in the very second verse, now these two verses, Krishna is actually doing advertisement for what he is going to explain. So this is Krishna's advertisement. We have some devotees here who do advertisement and marketing. So they know what it means. It is very, very important to do advertisement. But there is a difference between Krishna's advertisement and our advertisements. If we have some product, when we do advertisement, that product is not going to live up to the expectation of the advertisement. If you show something in the advertisement, the product is surely going to fall short of all those things that you show in the advertisements. But Krishna's advertisement is not like that. So this is the second verse where Krishna is advertising the knowledge that he is going to give in this chapter. And what is he saying? Raja-vidyā. Now look at Krishna's words. How majestic Krishna's words are. When he is going to advertise, he says, Raja-vidyā. Oh Arjuna, this knowledge that I am going to give you, this is Raja-vidyā. This is king of all education. Raja-guhyaṁ. Again, the word Raja. Raj means the king. This is the king of all confidential knowledge and secrets. Pavitram. It is purest of all. Idam uttamam. There is nothing higher than this. Pratyakṣāvagamaṁ. Krishna is saying pratyakṣāvagamaṁ. It can be directly experienced. Dharmyam. This is the purest of all religion. Su-sukham kartum avyayam. And this knowledge, if you come to understand, it is going to give you su-sukham. It is going to give you immense pleasure and happiness. So this is Krishna's advertisement for the knowledge that he is going to provide in this whole entire chapter. So this is Krishna's advertisement. His advertisement is not going to fall short of what he is saying. The experiences of the knowledge, when we receive this knowledge, is not going to fall short of any of the expectations that we have through this advertisement of Krishna. Surely this knowledge is rāja-vidyā, rāja-guhyam, pavitram, uttamam, pratyakṣāvagamaṁ, dharmyam, su-sukham, kartum, avyayam. These are the terms that Krishna has used in this verse to explain this verse, this entire chapter. So this verse is actually the summary of the entire chapter in one way. All the knowledge that is going to be explained in this entire chapter, it is all based on this verse. And what is that knowledge that Krishna is going to explain in this whole chapter? That knowledge is the knowledge of devotional service. Therefore, you will find that in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that there is one kind of knowledge that is called confidential knowledge. What is confidential knowledge? Prabhupada says the difference between body and soul is called confidential knowledge. But to understand devotional service, that is the culmination of the confidential knowledge, therefore he says Raja-vidyā. There is Vidya. Vidya means knowledge. Knowledge means to know the difference between body and soul. But Krishna is saying that I am not going to just tell you the difference between body and soul. That I have already explained in the second chapter. But in this chapter, Raja-vidyā, I am going to explain you the most confidential knowledge, the secret of all secrets. So therefore you will find in the purport, Prabhupada, in the next section of the purport, Prabhupada has written a very beautiful line to explain what is this confidential knowledge. So he says that the confidential part of the knowledge, that to know the difference between body and soul, simply knowing that the spirit soul is different from this body and that its nature is immutable, indestructible and eternal. But this knowledge of the difference between body and soul, Prabhupada says that gives no positive information about the soul. So this gives no positive information about the soul. What does it mean? That means just to know the difference between body and soul is not sufficient. Then Prabhupada goes on to say that the soul is eternally active and its activities in the spiritual kingdom are the most confidential part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of the spirit soul are therefore indicated here as constituting the king of all knowledge. So Prabhupada in this whole purport is discussing that the king of all knowledge is devotional service. And this is what Krishna's conclusion is. In the last verse of this chapter, Krishna is also saying, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna is saying, Manmana, engage your mind in thinking of me. Mad bhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru. And pay obeisances to me. So the conclusion of entire chapter, in this whole chapter, Krishna is discussing that how my devotees will never perish. How my devotees, even if they fall back, even if something happens to them, Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati. They are surely going to become Mahatma in very, very soon, in very, very less time. So ultimately, in this whole chapter, Krishna is discussing devotional service. And this is what Prabhupada explains in the Purport. Then Prabhupada in the Purport explains all the words of that Krishna has used for this confidential knowledge. He explains that how there are different kinds of knowledges. But this knowledge of devotional service is rāja-vidyā. Then he explains pavitram, that how this knowledge is completely pure. It is uttamam. Uttama means ignorance. This knowledge is going to bring you above ignorance. So therefore Krishna has used the words uttamam. Pratyakṣāvagamaṁ. Then Prabhupada gives the example of Narad Muni, that how he performed devotional service by serving the Bhakti Vedantas. And dharmyam, this knowledge, this devotional service is dharmyam, su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. This is the king of all education and it is dharmam. It is the purest of all religion. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma mad bhakti krit prokta. Srimad Bhagavatam says, what is dharma? That is mad bhakti krit. Doing devotional service is only dharma, and su-sukham kartum avyayam. Now, if anybody comes to understand this knowledge, su-sukham kartum avyayam, this is going to give them immense happiness. So, this is the summary of the entire chapter, and this is what Krishna is explaining in this whole chapter, and especially he is advertising in this verse. So, there is a constant, you will find that there is a constant competition going on between devotees and Krishna. What is that competition? Su-sukham kartum avyayam. Krishna's devotees always want to please Krishna, and Krishna always wants to please his devotees. And therefore, here in this verse, Krishna is saying that anybody who performs my devotional service, what happens to them? Su-sukham kartum avyayam. They get transcendental pleasure by performing devotional service. So this is what Krishna is saying. Su-sukham kartum avyayam. So Krishna's devotees, they are trying to please Krishna. Tatsuk sukhitvam. Krishna's devotees feel pleasure in serving Krishna. But Krishna feels pleasure in giving pleasure to his devotees. So therefore, anybody who takes up to the process of devotional service, Krishna is saying that my devotees, su-sukham kartum avyayam, because they are performing devotional service, they will always be immersed in transcendental bliss. And Krishna's devotees, they are not looking for transcendental pleasure also. But it is Krishna who gives them transcendental pleasure by the process of devotional service. So this process of devotional service is su-sukham kartum avyayam. So today we will discuss this section, that how the process of devotional service is su-sukham kartum avyayam. So this can be very easily understood, as Prabhupada has said in this verse, that just understanding the difference between body and soul is not sufficient. We have to look at the activities of the soul in the spiritual kingdom. In the Purport, Prabhupada says that look at the activities of the soul in the spiritual kingdom, then we will be truly able to realize that yes, when the soul, when the Atma performs the devotional service to the Lord, what happens? Su-sukham kartum avyayam. He gets transcendental bliss. So, Krishna provides transcendental bliss to his devotees by this devotional process. And what are the devotional processes that devotees take? Devotees take up the process of chanting, the process of hearing Krishna Gatha. And mainly, if you will find that devotees, they chant the holy name, they meditate on the form of the Lord, they meditate on the qualities of the Lord, and they meditate on the pastimes of the Lord. These are the 4 ways in which devotees perform devotional activities. Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela. So how these Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela of the Lord, the name, the form, the qualities and the pastimes of the Lord, when a devotee gets engaged in devotional service, how these name, form, qualities, pastimes provide su-sukham, kartum, avyayam to a devotee? So we have to look at devotees' experience. What they feel when they chant the holy name of the Lord. What are their experiences? So the name itself, the Krishna, Krishna is the name. When a devotee chants the name of Krishna, what happens to them? Krishna's name, according to Nirukti, it is said, Krishi bhuvachaka shabda, rasya nivritti vachaka, tayoraikya parabrahma Krishna iti vidhiyate. Krishna itself means one who is reservoir of all pleasure. Krishi bhuvachaka shabda. Bhu means base. Bhu means bhumi. Bhu means where everything resides. Reservoir, you can say. So Krishi, Kri. In the word Krishna, Kri means bhu. It means reservoir. It means reservoir. Krishi bhu vachaka shabda and Nashya nivritti vachaka. Nivritti means transcendental pleasure. So Krishi bhu vachaka shabda, Nashya nivritti vachaka, tayor aikya parabrahma Krishna iti vidhiyate. When you bring them together, that means Krishna. So when there is transcendental pleasure in the name of Krishna, the name itself means reservoir of all pleasure. So as a devotee chants Krishna, 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 he feels transcendental pleasure. So this is experience of devotees. Similarly in Srimad Bhagavatam, while explaining the Bhagavad Dharma, it is explained in 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 48th verse. Evam vrata swa priyanama kirtya jatanurago drutachitta uchchay hasati atho rodati roti gayati unmadavat nrityati lokabahya. What happens when a devotee is chanting the holy name? Evam vrata. When a devotee takes vrata of chanting the holy name, evam vrata swa priyanama kirtya. When he chants the name of the Lord, who is very dear to his devotees, what happens? Evam vrata swa priyanama kirtya jata anurago drutachitta uchchay. With great anurag, with great feelings, a devotee chants the holy name of the Lord. Jata anurago drutachitta uchchay, and his heart starts to melt. And uchchay, with great voice, with a great swara, what he does? Hasati, atho rodati roti gayati. This is a transcendental pleasure which Krishna gives to his devotees. Which Krishna is saying, su-sukham kartum avyayam. The name of Krishna is so wonderful that when a devotee chants su-sukham kartum avyayam, he starts to laugh when he is chanting the holy name. Hasati, atho rodati. Sometimes he laughs, sometimes he cries. Roti. He chants the holy name with great eagerness. And unmadavat nrityati lokabahya. Unmadavat, he becomes mad in ecstasy of chanting the holy name, and he starts dancing in public, and lokabhaya, he doesn't even remember who is watching me, who is not watching me. So this is transcendental pleasure of a devotee, which Krishna is always competing with his devotees. My devotees are giving me so much pleasure, so let me also give pleasure to my devotees. So this is how Krishna gives pleasure to his devotees. Now in the commentary to this verse, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he quotes a very beautiful verse by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, which is mentioned in Padyavali by Srila Rupa Goswami. He says that if you want to understand this verse, go to Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, where you will find a similar verse by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. What Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya says about a devotee who is chanting the holy name, he says, Parivadati jano yatha tathayam nanu mukharo navayam vicharayamaha parivadati jano yatha tathayam. There are many people who are criticizing a devotee who are chanting the holy name. Just look at this devotee. He has come to streets and he is dancing and chanting. But Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya says that if somebody criticizes me like that, I do not care. Nanu mukharo navayam vicharayama. I do not even care about what people are saying. Then Hari rasa madira madati matta. What will I do? I will only drink the nectar of Krishna's holy name, Hari Rasa. Krishna's name is Hari Rasa. Sarvam Bhattacharya is saying, and Madira, it is like, it is so intoxicating that I will drink Krishna's holy name and Madati Matta, and I will become mad in ecstasy. Bhuvi Vilutama Natama Nirvishama. And I will roll on ground. I will roll in the dust of Vrindavan. Bhuvi Vilutama Natama, and I will dance in ecstasy. And I will nirvishama, and I will lose my consciousness. This is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is saying that how Krishna gives ecstasy to his devotees. Therefore Krishna is saying, su-sukham kartum avyayam. This process of devotional service, the chanting of the holy name, is su-sukham kartum avyayam. A devotee does not care. He does not care who is watching me dance, who is criticizing me. A devotee does not care. People will criticize. Look at this person. He is wearing dhoti kurta. He is wearing tilak. You know, if you go out of Vrindavan, certainly people criticize. They look at you like you are an alien, like you have come from a different planet. If you wear dhoti kurta and tilak, and then if you have a bead bag in your hand, they are thinking, what is that one finger coming out? And what is he doing? But a devotee does not care. They will criticize you. Look at this person, look at this fellow. He had a high-paying job, but he has left it. For what? For chanting holy name. What is this Harinam? But Krishna's devotees, they feel such pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, su-sukham kartum avyayam, that they cannot give up the chanting of the holy name. So this is Krishna's devotees who are chanting the holy name. Srimati Radharani, she speaks a verse in Vidagdha Madhav, and how these two letters, Krishna, are giving me such pleasure that I do not even know how much pleasure they give me. Tunde tandiv nimratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye. And she is saying that she starts to desire millions and millions of tongues to chant the holy name of the Lord. Such pleasure in Krishna's holy name. Tunde tandivinim tanum ratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye. Karna kroda kadambini ghatayate karnar budebhya spriham. And she starts to desire karnar budebhya. She is desiring arbud. Arbud means crores and crores of ears. Chetah pranginis vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim no jane janitad kriyad bhiramrite krishneti varna dvai. These two letters, Krishna, how much pleasure, how much sukha is there in chanting Krishna? Srimati Radharani is saying that I do not know. No jane janitad kriyad bhiramrite. What nectar is there in these two letters, I do not know. So this is Krishna's holy name. Krishna's holy name has so much pleasure. Krishna is competing with his devotees to give that pleasure. Similarly, when a devotee starts meditating on the form of the Lord, he gets immense pleasure. Such pleasure he gets that he becomes sold out servant to Krishna. This is the pleasure that Krishna gives. Su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. The gopis are saying in the 10th canto, 29th chapter, 39th verse, Vikṣālakāvritamukham tava kundala shri ganda sthaladhar sudham hasitavalokam dattabhayam cha bhujadanda yugam vilokya vaksha shriyay karamadam cha bhavamadasyam. In the Pranay Geet, the gopis are speaking to Krishna that, oh Krishna, we have become a sold out servant to you. How? Just by taking darshan of yours. Vikṣālakāvritamukham. By seeing your beautiful face which is decorated with beautiful hairs. Vikṣālakāvritamukham tava kundala shri. And seeing your beauty, seeing your kundal. Ganda sthaladhara sudham hasitavalokam. And by seeing your ganda sthala, by seeing by taking darshan of your lips, by taking darshan of dattabhayam cha bhujadanda, by taking darshan of your bhujdanda, by taking darshan of your arms, which provides abhay, which provides fearlessness to his devotees, we have become sold out servants. So the gopis are saying, Vaksha Shriyai Karamadam Cha Bhavama Dasyam. So Krishna is asking, okay, now you have become servant of mine, so now I have to pay you salary? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary to this verse, he is asking, he says that Krishna asked the gopis that, oh, now you have become sold out servant to me by looking at me, because my form is so beautiful. So now if you become somebody's servant, you have to pay them some fees. You have to pay them for their servitorship. So the gopis are saying, no, you don't have to pay Krishna. You have already paid to us. How? By your darshan itself. Your darshan itself is the salary that we receive. So the gopis are saying, again, in the Gopi-gītam, they are saying, Sharadudasaye sadhujat sad sarasijodara shri mushadrisha suratanath te ashulk dasika varadanignato neha kim vadha. So here also the gopis are saying that, oh Krishna, now we have become sold out to you by looking, by taking darshan of yours. And how are we sold out? The gopis are saying that ashulka dasika. You don't even have to give me shulka. Ashulka dasika. We are such servants of yours. By taking darshan of yours, we have become such a servant that you don't even have to give us salary. So this is Krishna's beauty, Krishna's form. So by meditating on Krishna's form, a devotee gets su-sukham kartum avyayam. Krishna is giving such pleasure to such a devotee. So this is Krishna's form. Again in Venudhar, again we find gopis' words. Krishnam niriksha vanitotsava rupa shilam Shrutva cha tatpanita venu vivikta gītam Devyo vimanagatayo smaranunnasara Bhrishyat prasuna kavaramu muhur vinivyaha. Again, what is Krishna's form? How much pleasure is there in Krishna's form for a devotee? So gopis are saying, Krishnam niriksha vanitotsava rupa shilam. Oh Krishna, your form is like festival for us. Your form is like festival for vanitas, for women of this world. Such pleasure, such immense bliss by looking at Krishna. Krishnam niriksha vanitotsava rupa shilam shrutva cha tat kanita venu vivikta gītam. And by hearing your flute song, there is immense pleasure. Devyo vimanagatayo. And when Devis, when the demigoddesses, the wives of demigods, when they are traveling in their plane, when they see your form, what happens to them? Devyo vimanagatayo smaranunnasara. They become maddened in ecstasy. And bhrishyat prasuna kavara mumuhur vinivya. Their garland, their clothes, they start becoming loosened. Such form of Krishna. Prem dev ki chhavi hi lakhi bhay miya ras khan. Sri Rasa Khan, a devotee poet in Sri Vrindavan Dham, he also just saw the form of Krishna and got so much attracted that he left everything and came to Sri Vrindavan, came to Govardhan and resided there for entire life doing Krishna bhajan. Sri Rasa Khan, his name was Sayyid Ibrahim Khan. He was living in a palace, but just once, born in a Muslim family, he was just moving around the bazaar, and on one pan shop, he saw Krishna's picture with holding a flute in his hand and sold out. That's all. Got sold out. Immediately came to Vrindavan, went to Govardhan, and all his life he did bhajan there. So this is Krishna's roop. Such intoxication is there in Krishna's roop. Such intoxication Krishna provides, su-sukham kartum avyayam, that a devotee who sees Krishna's form even sees Krishna's picture. Look at Rasa Khan. Therefore Rasa Khan prays, Goraja viraje bhala laha lahi vanamala age gaiya pache gwala baje mridu tanari. This is Rasa Khan. Rasa Khan is explaining that how when Krishna is returning, this is the time when Krishna returns after grazing the cows. So this is the return pastime of Krishna from the forest. So when Krishna is returning from the forest, what is Krishna's beauty that is being drunk by the gopis? In Gopi's words, Rasakhan, in his poem, he says, Goraja viraje bhala. The Goraj, the dust of Sri Vrindavan, which have come up from the hoof of the cows, that have come up. The cows are moving ahead, and the dust is coming up in the air, and that is decorating the forehead of Krishna. Goraja viraje bhala, laha lahi vanamala. And Krishna is wearing such a beautiful garland. Aage gaiya pache gwala, baje mridu tanari. And the gopas are walking. Laha lahi vanamala, aage gaiya. The cows are forward, pache gwala. And the gwal with Krishna, with his sakhas, with his friends, he is behind. And gave mridu tanari, and all the sakhas, they are actually singing the glories of Krishna. And the gopis are seeing this form of Krishna. Taisi dhuni basuri ki madhura madhura jaisi, banka chitavani mridu mandamu sukaniri. So this is Rasakhan. The gopis are saying, Taisi dhuni basuri ki, Krishna is playing flute. Madhura madhura jaisi, and such sweet flute Krishna is playing. Banka chitavani, he has a threefold bent form. Mridu manda musukaniri, and Krishna is smiling at his devotees, and devotees are sold out by seeing Krishna's form. Kadamba vitapake nikata tata nike tata, ata chadhi chahi pita pata faharaniri. So again, devotees is seeing, they are seeing that Krishna is coming, and he goes to the bank of Yamuna. Kadamba vitapake nikata tata nike tata. He is standing near a tree, Kadamba tree, and he is standing near Yamuna tata. And what is he doing? Ata chadhi chahi pita pata faharaniri. And when he is standing, his pita pata, his dhoti, that is flowing in the air by the wind of Sri Vrindavan. And the gopis are watching this. Rasa barasave tana tapana bujhave naina, prana niri jhave vaha ave rasa khaniri. So the gopis are saying, this is Krishna's form. Rasa barasave, Krishna's form is giving transcendental bliss. It is the embodiment of transcendental mellow. Rasa barasave, tana tapana bujhave. And gopis who are afflicted by the separation of Krishna, all their separation goes away when they see Krishna, when he is coming back. This is Krishna's form. Prana nire jhave vaha ave rasa khaniri. And Krishna's name itself is Rasa Khan. Rasa Khan means Ras Khan, Khan of Rasa, the treasure house of transcendental pleasure. So when a devotee, again, when he sees Krishna's form, when he experiences Krishna's form, Krishna is saying therefore, su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. He gets transcendental bliss. He gets immersed in transcendental pleasure by seeing Krishna's form. This is Krishna's form. Nama, Rupa, Guna. Now Krishna's guna, Krishna's qualities. How beautiful are Krishna's qualities? That they are so beautiful that a Brahma Jnani, a Brahma Vedta, like Shukadeva Goswami, he gets attracted to Krishna's qualities. Shukadeva Goswami, when he was born, he started walking towards the forest, not caring for anything. He thought that I will get caught up in this maya, in this network of illusion of this material world. Therefore, he just started walking. He was a Brahma Vedta. He was constantly meditating on the Supreme Brahma. But one verse, Srila Vyāsadeva composed and told his disciple that go and speak this verse in front of Shukadeva Goswami. That one verse talked about Krishna's qualities. What was that one verse? aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jighansayapayadapyasadbhi lebhe gatim dhatruchitam tatonyam kamba dayalu sharanam vrajema. This is Krishna's quality. Shukadeva Goswami forgot all his Brahma Jnana and came back running to Vyāsadeva to ask, please teach me from where this verse is. Which is this literature and who has composed this? So Srila Vyāsadeva says that I have only composed this literature and I have stored this literature only for you. This one quality of Krishna, Kamva Dayalu Sharanam Vrajema. How merciful Krishna is. Putana, Lokabalagni, Rakshasi Rudhirasana, Jighanseapi Hare Stanam Dattva Pasadgatim. Shukadeva Goswami, while explaining Putana pastimes, he is saying Putana, Lokabalagni. These are the qualifications of Putana. Putana is Lokabalagni. She is killing children. Rakshasi. She is born in a Rakshasi. Rudhirasana. And what she eats? She drinks only blood. Rudhirasana. Jighanseapi Hare. She came to kill Krishna with Kalakut. Stanam Dattva Apasadgatim. But still, Krishna only saw one quality of Putana, that she came to give me something. Kim Puna Shraddhaya Bhaktya Nityaya Paramatmane. Shukadeva Goswami explaining this pastime. He got so much attracted to this quality of Krishna that Krishna is such Dayalu. Kamba Dayalu Sharan Braja. Who else to take shelter if Krishna is so merciful? So this is Krishna's qualities. Dehar Budani Bhagavan Yugapat Pratyakṣa. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying that Dehar Budani Bhagavan, give me millions and millions of bodies. Yugapat Pratyakṣa. Vaktrar Budani Chapunah Pratidehameva. Jihvar Budani Kripaya Prativaktameva. Nrityantu Teshu Tavanath Gunar Budani. Oh Krishna, you have millions and millions of qualities, and I am not satisfied by chanting your qualities, by your guna, with one mouth. So give me unlimited number of mouths, unlimited number of tongues, and unlimited number of bodies with which I can glorify you. I can sing your glories. I can sing your qualities. Gunar Budani. So this is Krishna's qualities. Krishna's qualities are so great and so immense, and a devotee gets such pleasure in singing Krishna's qualities that he gets immersed in transcendental pleasure. And this pleasure is given by Krishna himself. Therefore Krishna is saying, su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. This knowledge of devotional service, if somebody receives, when he practices this devotional service, what happens? Su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. This is Krishna's qualities. Again in Srimad Bhagavatam, Nivritta Tarshair Upagiyamanat Bhavaushadhat Shrotamanovirāmat Ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat Puman virajyeta vina pashugnat. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 1st chapter, 4th verse. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, who else? Who will not chant the glories of Krishna? Who will not chant the glories of the qualities of Krishna? Ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat Nivritta Tarshair Upagiyamanat Bhavaushadhat. This is Bhavaushadhi. With everyone, whether he be liberated person, whether he is a materialist, whether he is looking for moksha, or whether he is a devotee, everybody will chant the qualities of Krishna and get immersed in transcendental pleasure. And Krishna is providing that pleasure. Therefore Krishna is saying, su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. This is Krishna's qualities. Now, Krishna again, by chanting his pastimes, by meditating on pastimes of Krishna, again Krishna provides su-sukhaṁ kartum avyayam. In 10th canto, 47th chapter, 18th verse, Srimati Radharani is speaking that what is Krishna's, how Krishna's pastimes give transcendental pleasure to a devotee. Yadanu charita leela karna piyusha veprot sakridadana vidhuta dvanda dharma vinashta sapadi griha kutumbam dīna mutsrijya dīna bahavaiha vihanga bhikshu charyam charanti. This is Srimati Radharani in Bhramar Geet, in 47th chapter, in front of Uddhav. Srimati Radharani is speaking this verse, that how Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastimes are so deadly. So Srimati Radharani, in glorifying Krishna's pastimes, she's saying that Krishna's pastimes are very deadly. What are the effects of Krishna's hearing Krishna's pastimes? So Srimati Radharani says, Yad anucharita leela karna piyusha viprut. If a drop of Krishna's pastime, nectarian Krishna's pastimes, falls in the ear of a devotee, what happens to them? Srimati Radharani speaks. Yadanu charita leela karna piyusha viprut. Viprut means drop. Even if a drop, now that drop can fall many times. Srimati Radharani says sakrid. Sakrid means once. One drop of Krishna's nectarian pastime, if it falls in the ear of a devotee even once, only once, so what happens? Sakridadana vidhuta dvandva dharma vinashta. It takes away all the dvandva dharmas. Dvandva dharma means man, apaman, sukha, dukha, everything is gone by just hearing one time Krishna's pastime. One drop of Krishna's pastime. This is Radharani's realization. Sapadi griha kutumbam dina mutsrijya dina. And sapadi, he hears once Krishna's pastime and sapadi griha kutumbam, he leaves his house. So this is Srimati Radharani saying that we don't want to hear about Krishna anymore. He has gone to Mathura and we don't want to hear. In one way, Srimati Radharani is saying to Uddhav that please tell us more and more Krishna's pastime. This is glorification, in covert glorification of Krishna's pastime. So sapadi griha kutumbam, as we heard Krishna's pastime once, all our homely duties, household duties, we forgot all our household duties and we left everything. Sapadi griha kutumbam dina mutsrijya dina. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this connection, dinam, a devotee who hears Krishna's pastimes, he knows that my home, my parents, my relatives, they are very, very poor. Dinam. But still, utsrijya, he leaves. He leaves his home. And what he does? Utsrijya, and he makes them even more dina. Dina means poor. So they become even more poorer. Dina mutsrijya dina. Bahava iha vihanga bhakshucharyam charanti. And what they do, these devotees, while after hearing Krishna's pastime, they become maddened in ecstasy, so much so that they become like birds. They start roaming around in this Sri Vrindavan Dham. Bahava iha. Iha means Sri Vrindavan. Bahava iha. Many, many such souls, many, many such devotees who heard Krishna's pastime just once, they left their home. Their home was poverty stricken, still they left it. Bahava iha vihanga. And they came to Sri Vrindavan. They started roaming around. They started going to Sri Radharaman. They started going to Sri Keli Kunja, going around Yamuna. Bahava iha vihanga. And they are asking bhiksha, bhikshu charyam charanti. And they are maintaining their livelihood just by taking bhiksha and chanting the holy name, the holy glories, the holy fame of the Lord. So this is Srimati Radharani's realization of Krishna's pastime. So this is why Krishna is saying su-sukham kartum avyayam. Anybody who takes to the devotional process, this devotional service is such beautiful. Krishna's holy name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes are so attractive that anybody who takes to this process, Krishna provides them immense bliss, immense pleasure. Su-sukham kartum avyayam. Therefore, Krishna has promised that anybody who takes to this process will get immense pleasure. Now the problem is, we don't get that pleasure. We have heard Krishna's pastime so many times. What to speak of one drop? Every day we have Srimad Bhagavatam class. Every day we have Bhagavad-gītā classes. Every day we are reading Srila Prabhupada books, but still, the pastimes of Krishna, the holy name, the holy fame, the form of Krishna, we are seeing the beautiful form of Shri Shri Radha Syam Sundar, but dehena yasya pulakodgama roma rajay. But our heart is not melting. What is the problem? Shat Krishna Nama Charitadi Shritapya Vidya. Srila Rupa Goswami is saying Krishna Nama, Krishna's fame, Krishna's pastime, Krishna Nama Charita Adi Shita. It is like sugar candy. Avidya, but this avidya like jaundice has caught us. And it is not allowing us to taste the holy nectar, the nectar of Krishna's holy name, fame, his form, his qualities and pastime. What is the problem? So Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he answers, this is the problem. Bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi hridi vartate tavat bhakti sukhasyatra katham abhyudayo bhavet. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is saying that bhukti mukti spriha yavat. Till the time, my dear devotees, we have this bhukti and mukti spriha, till the time we have desire to enjoy our senses, till the time we have desire for mukti, to get out, in our devotional service, many times it happens that we think that, oh, I have desire for sense gratification, but it's mukti, I do not desire mukti. But in one way, we will find that most of the times when we get into difficulties, when we have problems in our life, when we have disease in our body, what are we praying to Krishna? Krishna, please relieve me from this disease. Please get me away from this one problem in my life. This is what is the desire for mukti. The mukti desire means get out of misery and be in a comfortable position. So Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, Bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi hridi vartate. Till the time this desire for sense gratification, till the time this desire for mukti, for liberation remains in the heart, yavat bhakti sukhasyatra, the bhakti sukha which Krishna is talking about, su-sukham kartum avyayam, katham abhyudayo bhavet. How will that arise in the heart of that devotee? How will that arise in the heart of a sadhaka? It will not arise. So what is the problem? This is the problem. Bhukti mukti spriha. Till the time this remains in the heart, the bhakti sukh is not going to arise in the heart. Then what is the solution? Solution is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yat shrunavati apayati aratir trishna. Take to the process and keep the endeavor. Kintu adarad anudinam anushaiva jushta. In NOI, verse 7, Srila Rupa Goswami is giving us the help. That take to this process of the holy name, seeing the form of the Lord, even if you are not getting pleasure in the beginning, kintu adarat. But take to this process with adar and anudinam, every day. Every day with great attention, with adar, with great respect, you follow this process. Anushaiva jushta, khalushaiva jushta, swadvi kramat. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, the taste like this, the su-sukham which Krishna is promising, it is not a false promise like the outside advertisements. It's not a false promise that Krishna has given us. Krishna is giving us a true promise that this process of devotional service, certainly it will provide you su-sukham, which we saw through so many scriptural references, that how devotees who are chanting the holy name, who are seeing the form of the Lord, how when they are hearing the guna, qualities of the Lord, when they are hearing the pastimes of the Lord, they are immersed in transcendental bliss. So it's not a wrong or a false promise by Krishna, su-sukham kartum avyayam. It's a true promise by Krishna. But only we have to get engaged in devotional service in a way that our acharyas have prescribed. Kintu adarad anudinam pravishta karnarandhrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam Krishna salilasya yathasharat. Certainly, as soon as Krishna's pastimes will enter the ears, pravishta karnarandhrena, it will bring the purification, the required purification, and ultimately it will bring us to the platform where we can experience this which Krishna is advertising and saying, su-sukham kartum avyayam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.